So, Schrödinger's cat is a thought experiment that illustrates how quantum mechanics can describe a situation where a cat is both alive and dead at the same time. Brödinger's communist is how Hasan Piker is capable of being a communist and not a communist at the same time. Ethan Klein made a video, or in this case a content nuke, on how Hasan Piker is undeniably a communist that promotes terrorism. Hasan has refused to watch this video out of abject fear. So when Hasan just so happens to catch a Democrat streamer named Dean Withers watching the video and criticizing Hasan's insanely unhinged behavior, Hasan has to step in to try and poison the well. What Hasan doesn't realize is that he's dealing with a person that debates online every day and easily sees through Hasan's paltry attempts at subversion. Strap on your helmets, fellas, things are about to get pretty tarded.
I've learned so much from Hasan about like what it means to be like a man on the left, if that makes any sense. And it's people like Hasan that really led me in the direction of being on the left. And I think that he's used his platform to do a lot of good, especially for like younger white guys. A lot of good.
So we're starting off with some fortuitous pole smoking by Dean. Hasan's just on the left. It's not the far left. He's not communist. Just a guy on the left that, he's like a man and on the left. That's a new thing in 2025. A manly man on the left. But that's not the funny part. The funny part is it takes less than 2 seconds for Hasan to hear that Dean is watching the content nuke and commenting on the fact that Hasan has said some pretty bad, terrible things. It takes less than 2 seconds for Hasan to appear out of nowhere, as if Dean Withers said Palestine 3 times into a mirror, but Hasan jumped out on Palestine number 2.
But, dude, I was watching like that content nuke. Holy fuck. He's definitely also done like a lot of bad things.
Palestine.
Oh, what the fuck?
There it is. Yep. That's how quick it was.
What the hell?
Oh my god, bro. There's no way.
No.
That's hilarious.
This is a joke, right?
What's going on, brother?
I literally scroll it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Bro, that's kind of crazy.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Hasan.
Just watching us like talk about like random drama.
Rolling on my TikTok For You page. I'm sitting here, laying down with Kaya, and right as I'm scrolling, I hear this motherfucker Dean being like, "Yo, I saw the content nuke. I watched the content nuke, and Hasan was my entry point into like doing content on the left."
Yeah, I just so happened to be watching. I wasn't watching because you were actually watching the content nuke, and Hasan refuses to watch it. He just so happened to be watching at the exact moment in time Dean was criticizing Hasan for his horrific behavior, and magically he appears out of the ether to come in and run defense for himself.
I think that you've done a lot of really good things for people on the left, but I watched like the start of that content nuke. I'm gonna be honest, like I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I saw a lot of bad things in there. And I'm trying to be objective as possible.
I have to this day not watched the full nuke. I will admit, I only watched a couple pieces of it. Hold on, I'm cracking his in.
Hold on, I'm cracking his in. Hey, fellow youths, do you also zin? It was so imperative that he hurries up to run defense for himself that he didn't even pop in his Zen yet, and instead of just popping in his Zen, he has to announce and go, "Hold on, boys, cracking his Zen." He's so cool. He's so hip.
I actually just watched a couple pieces of it this today on stream, and from what I saw, it was just the same shit that the sex pastini community is clipped out of context. Stuff like saying that I deny rapes on October 7, and it's literally like a 2-second clip.
What rapes did Hezbollah do? Bro, what rapes did Hamas do? What are you talking about?
I don't care if rapes happen.
So Hasan goes on to talk for like 5 minutes uninterrupted and make himself seem like a good guy by saying, yeah, well, this is what they're saying and this is why it's not true, making up what people are saying about him and saying how it's not true, inaccurately representing the people that are criticizing him. It's all he can do. So he just tries to wear people down. Now, here's what he doesn't realize. He's talking to Dean Withers. Dean Withers has been like debating people for 4, 5, 6 hours a day. He has the stamina. He's not gonna wear down Dean Withers. A lot of this mystical boredom that he puts people through, where nobody quite knows what he's talking about, they check out, he talks for a straight 5 minutes, and then he's used to someone kind of getting their battery level getting lower and lower. Dean Withers is right there. All these dudes are. And they respond like it's not really affecting them like he wants it to.
But I want to learn more, and I want to learn more about you. I do. I really do. I wanna finish that content nuke. I want to get your takes. You know, from you said you reacted to it on stream. I'll probably do that.
No, I to be fair, I didn't react to the thing in its entirety.
So I feel like Dean is messing with Hasan here, because Hasan had already said previously that he hadn't reacted to the content nuke.
And I'm trying to be objective as possible.
I have to this day not watched the full nuke. I will admit. I only watched a couple pieces of it. Hold on, I'm cracking it in.
And so later on, Dean is like, yeah, I'll probably just do what you did and just react to it on stream. He knows that Hasan hasn't done that. They're messing with him. They don't respect him.
To be fair, I didn't react to the thing in its entirety. And I might in the future, because I was thinking about maybe bringing in some historians to also talk about it regardless, because like,
why would Hasan bring in historians? He hasn't watched the video. Historians aren't going to help him with a large portion of the video. Here, let's watch a portion of the video and see what historians would think about it.
Predictably, there was some blowback after this interview, and Hasan went immediately into damage control to rewrite history.
He said that he was just simply a Yemeni person and not a Houthi. Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if he's a Houthi or not. He's a teenager in Yemen. The dude is neither a Houthi, nor a terrorist, nor a pirate, is not a Houthi rebel. They didn't fucking call him a Houthi either. You want to know why? Because he's not one. He's not a Houthi himself. He's not a pirate, but you know, I don't think he's not a pirate. He has reiterated the position that he is not a Houthi. Trust me, bro, I'm not Houthi. Be for real. You sucked him off the entire stream. Not even a Houthi militant or anything like that. When I interviewed the dude who they still to this day call a Houthi terrorist, Tim Houthi's not even a fucking Houthi. I thought he wasn't a Houthi because he's not. No, he was just some fucking Yemeni TikToker. Random fucking Yemeni teenager. Didn't you brand it as him being a Houthi interview though? Bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother.
First of all, Hasan, thank you for bringing me here. I'm a historian, and based on what you just showed me, it seems like you had an interview with by your own admission, a Houthi rebel. It seems like the conversation didn't go well because afterwards you completely lied. You completely lied and rewrote history and acted like you never talked to a Houthi rebel and he was never a Houthi rebel. A good thing you brought a historian here, Hasan. What do you think a historian's gonna do for you?
Because I think that's what matters. The truth matters more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously respect the prerogative of valuing truth over all else.
Yeah.
And I hold the same perspective. And I'm sure that there's maybe like a handful of people watching that are like, "Oh my God, Dean, you're sucking up to Hasan, and you're not."
Oh, no,
you're not
you guys are.
Yeah,
you guys are the arch debate lords. You can take me to task on this issue if you want.
Yeah,
I've
no,
seen
I
a lot of your content.
I'll call you out, okay? And I mean that. I will.
Yeah.
I will. I see some fuck shit, I'll do it.
I don't think I've heard someone talk to Hasan like that before. If you do some fuck shit, I'm gonna call you out on it. I don't think Dean's very impressed. I think Dean kind of knows the amount of power he has in this situation, that Hasan Piker teleported through space and time to interrupt his stream. But Hasan's an open and honest guy. He'll tell you what he believes in. He's obviously not afraid of the truth coming out or someone else's perspective of Hasan coming out. So let's hear Hasan lay his cards out on the table.
Well, for me, like I have an ideological purpose, and it's not something that I hide. I've even, openly admitted to. I call myself a propagandist on Piers Morgan's show, which everyone always points to. What do you mean you're a propagandist? Like I use propaganda in the old terminology for it. I had a show on the Young Turks back in the day called agitative propaganda as well.
Okay, so Hasan's being transparent. He had a show called Agitprop, which is short for agitative propaganda, which was used by Vladimir Lenin, famous Marxist. Most communists nowadays will call themselves Marxist-Leninists. If Marx is the father of communism, then Lenin is the son of communism. So it's good to see that Hasan's being open about him being a communist when talking to Dean.
I'm not a communist. So I think that.
Of course he lies about being a communist. This is like what's so hilarious about the thought of Hasan having a historian on the show. The historian's like, you're showing me a video, an hour and 40-minute video of someone showing you lying over and over again. So after this stream, Ethan took a look at it, and he noticed an inconsistency about Hasan saying he wasn't a communist.
Here's a clip of Hasan telling Dean he's not a communist, juxtaposed with him talking about me, laughing that like, oh, you'll see. He goes, Ethan didn't know I was a communist? Like, give me a fucking break. Back to back. Let's take a listen.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I'm not a communist. So I think
that's fucking
that,
interesting.
like, I can't even imagine what that would look like in general. But the way I explain it is like, I'm not opposed to it, you know?
He's gently tiptoeing like, oh, I don't know. I'm not a communist. Tee-hee, I can't really, it's not happening anytime soon. And then when you go to his stream, it's like, fucking liberals need to die.
Dude, I hate liberals, dude. I hate them. I hate them so viciously.
Did he secretly despise me this whole time?
I'm sorry, dude. I hate liberals so much.
Did this man sit next to me for 2 years and pretend to be my friend?
Dude, liberals are a burden on this planet, dude.
Liberals are the most, like, scummy, vile, fucking idiots. Liberals are incredibly stupid. I hate these petulant liberals, dumb fucking liberals.
Communism. I have a fucking red scare. I have a sickle and hammer in the background. It's exactly what I said he does. And
I know, Ethan, it's insane, isn't it?
It's so obvious.
They'd have to be a real...
Here's Hasan in Japan, pathetically, responding to the nuke on just this month, the beginning of this month.
Fucking bird-brained moron. Or maybe a disingenuous grifter.
He is talking about me feigning surprise that he's a communist.
Maybe a disingenuous grifter who recognizes that the person that they were talking to never really sheltered their views whatsoever.
He never hid that he was a communist.
Guys, I have a fucking statue of Lenin behind me.
Can you break that down? What was Lenin known for? He's a communist, right? Like a well-known. He's important, right? He's like
fairly substantial figure, yeah.
But and the way he says it too, it's not like in a historical way. It's like this is my guy. Now again, you can be a communist.
They all lie.
But Hasan is
a lying communist.
Lying,
right?
Being manipulative.
A communist
to funnel people through radicalization.
Guys, I have a fucking statue of Lenin behind me. I guess this is a piece from his video. Okay, my hiding being a communist. Okay, I had a show on the Young Turks called Agitative Propaganda. Even in these clips, there is a fucking USSR Ushanka behind my head. Okay, planet.
Was I being manipulated this whole time?
There is a bust. There is a what is it called? A Matryoshka doll of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. That's Che Guevara. That is another USSR Ushanka behind my head. Okay? What the fuck are you saying?
So the guy who went to talk to you, Dean, and say, I'm not a communist, just a few weeks before was accusing me of being a bad faith grifter for feigning surprise that he's a communist because it's just so fucking obvious. Everybody knows he's a communist. Why does he feel so brazen? Like, it's crazy that he feels comfortable brazenly lying to this degree. Like, nobody's held this guy accountable his whole fucking career in a serious way. You're a liar, dude.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
You're a fucking liar.
Holy shit, dude.
Excuse me.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
I apologize for that.
Literally lying.
What the absolute fuck are you saying?
Yes, thank you. I couldn't have put it better myself.
So to recap, Hasan hasn't watched the content nuke. Apparently Hasan has no idea that he's been saying he's an open communist, even though he does have to realize he said that because you don't have to watch the content nuke to hear him say that. So what Hasan doesn't know when he's talking to Dean, and as you're going to see his friend Parker, they both know Hasan is a communist because they've both watched the content nuke. They obviously have. So let's hear how Parker talks to Hasan about socialism, and even though Hasan denies being a communist, Parker is able to have Hasan defend communism, and of course, in the only Hasan way he knows possible, which is the worst way possible. Listen to Parker completely lil bro Hasan. I think Parker's like over a decade younger than Hasan, and he starts this off with, you know, Hasan, when I was younger and more retarded, I used to be a socialist too. You know, I used to be a socialist, so I get it. And the fact that he used to be a socialist means he understands what Hasan is saying, and how he's definitely a Marxist.
I'm coming from someone who used to be a socialist myself for a pretty long time, and I actually started my whole content creation like creating like leftist and socialist content. Are you like a socialist that like prioritizes cooperatives or like state or like command control?
Well, I do believe in state control. I mean, I think we already have state control in general in America as well. It's just that the incentive structure revolves around subsidies to mega corporations. And instead of the state executing any sort of centralized planning.
Centralized planning is a system of economic organization where the government controls economic decisions and is often associated with communist governments. It's also known as a command economy, which is why Parker asked Hasan, or do you want like command control?
State or like command control.
So there is still a level of state control. There's no true libertarian enterprise in this country, or in any country really. Of course, there has to be state control to a certain degree.
Are you arguing that like the predominant factor of the economy would be the state control or like the cooperative control? Like, are you like someone who would believe that there should be some cooperatives based on markets, or I eradicate my markets entirely?
I like cooperatives, and I think that there is a middle ground with like some market solutions, while still making sure that the state has the public best interest in mind.
You gotta love it. He hates America, he doesn't trust the American government, but we should have the government run the economy. Who's gonna be in charge of this government, Hasan? How can you hold these two beliefs at the same time? That is like, yeah, we should give the government more control, even though I don't trust the government and I hate America. Wouldn't you need to, like, at least through social democracy, instill the people that you want in government first? I guess, like, people that are hiding that they're communists, for example, and they're Marxists, and they try to get into upper echelons of power. I guess you would do that. But wouldn't you have to trust the government first? I don't understand. Shouldn't his focus first be having a government that has the people's best interest in mind? I mean, he's a communist, so he thinks it only happens through revolution. How else do you connect these two ideas? Once you realize he's a rat-fink communist, then you go, oh, it makes sense, yeah. The existing structure will be overthrown, and then they'll institute their government that'll have their best interest in mind, and then they'll just kill all of those that were close to them, because you can't have a culture of subversion over the course of generations to the point where it reaches a revolution, and then all of a sudden everyone knows the secrets on how to overthrow power, so they get rid of him as quickly as possible. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Parker already knows that Hasan is going to base everything around class conflict. So he's going to choose a point of argumentation that's really difficult for a communist to get around, because I don't think it involves the worker, or the bourgeoisie, or the proletariat, or the peasant. It involves something that happens in human beings that doesn't involve currency at all whatsoever.
Okay. Would you be against like the enforcement of certain types of laws? Like once we meet that society, I feel like in a communist society, there's no government that would enforce laws against like pedophilia. I feel like that would be true, right?
Yes, obviously.
Yes, obviously a communist government wouldn't make laws against pedophilia. What?
Like I feel like in a communist society, there's no government that would enforce laws against like pedophilia. I feel like that would be true, right?
Yes, obviously. That's why I'm saying I'm not a communist, but if...
Yeah, obviously Hasan's not a communist. Communists don't even have laws against pedophilia. But if he was a communist pedophile...
Society evolved in a way where We're talking so far out there. Like the only remaining crime would possibly be, like you said, pedophilia, which I guess at that stage, medical advancements would have found a solution for that as well. Like I'm assuming that's what it would look like.
Yeah, like communists wouldn't need laws against pedophilia because they would just probably medically fix it because it's perfect communism, is what they would think, I assume.
If I were to envision a communist society, so the concept of crime in and of itself would be entirely destroyed, considering that the overwhelming majority of crime is born out of material conditions.
It really is the perfect slave cult. All you think about, all of your morality, comes from the idea that you shouldn't get paid to do work and you'll just like it. All your problems can be solved if you just put a small group of people in charge of you and you trust them with deciding how much things you should have. That's where all your problems come from. You don't have someone making all the decisions for you. That's as far as Hasan has gotten with his analysis. All problems come from your material conditions. Once you solve those, it's gravy, baby! So to recap, Ethan made a video showing how Hasan is dead to rights a traditional Marxist-Leninist communist and supports actual murderous terrorists. Hasan has a little shit leak out of his pants at the thought of a streamer on the left watching this video and fairly criticizing Hasan's extremist views. Hasan, armed with nothing but the debate skills of a Down syndrome gerbil, blatantly lies about being a communist, manages to find a corner on a hill, crawls up that hill, backs himself into a corner, and dies on that hill. Well, wouldn't you know that the very moment I'm editing this video, Hasan has been banned from Twitch for his extremist rhetoric.
What's up, everyone? If you're seeing this, that means I've probably been banned. I said some things. Let's take a look at what I said. Libs of TikTok, of course, posted about it. Here's what Libs of TikTok claimed I was saying. Hasan Piker just called for violence against a sitting U.S. senator. If you cared about Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott at FBI. This got 17,000 likes. This was on February 28th. Let's take a look at this clip really quickly. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him a prominent part of the Republican Party. Now, that seems like a wild thing to say. Oh my God. Is this person calling for the death of a U.S. senator? Of course not. I was not calling for the assassination of a U.S. senator.
And here comes the pathetic communist backpedal. I didn't say anyone should do it. I'm just saying if you care about this topic, then you would end his life. See? I didn't say to go and do it. I said if you care about this subject, then you should do it. Completely different. They get all the charitability in the world. But there's always context missing. Whenever Hasan says something outrageous, it's just missing context.
The clip's too short, maybe it's out of context? I hope so. I definitely do. Hopefully it's out of context. How are you gonna...
Now, once he said this, does Asmongold go back and seek out the context? No, he doesn't. Instead, he follows through, basically packaging this as a fraud.
This is, by the way, the clip of me watching the context.
You would kill Rick Scott is because, and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party, is because he, to this day, is still...
Yeah, this is the video of me watching.
Also known as committing the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history.
Yes.
Oh, God. What are we doing? What is this, bro? Are you kidding me? So the context makes it worse.
It's disappointing to see him. You know, I did look at the context. There's a video of me looking at the context. The context makes it worse. I don't know what he's doing.
Once you understand Hasan is a communist, it's pretty easy to understand what he's doing. Rich, powerful, corrupt man bad. Kill rich, powerful, corrupt man. It's very easy. It's very simple. Goes from A to B throughout history, throughout his consistent terroristic threats. The world makes a lot more sense when you call these people communists instead of calling them fringe left or the crazy left. They're communists. They will admit that they're communists. Then they will engage in inflammatory communist rhetoric for the purpose of inciting antagonization that they also admit to, in order to get people to be violent, which they also admit to take to the streets, and to cause chaos. And hopefully one day, one of those develops more and more into a revolution. If you call them communists, it makes a lot of sense. But why am I saying call them communists? Just Hasan's a communist, right? We all know that classic trope of the lone communist. You know, if you find one communist, they're not like rats, and you find a whole infestation of them. Oh, wait a minute. There's plenty of content creators that are following in Hasan's footsteps.
It's obvious that Twitch has two different forms of punishment, right? Where Twitch streamers that embody certain political values are not being punished at the same ratio that an average person would be punished.
This is what happens when you don't kill every single slave owner after slavery. We would have socialism at this point if someone just went out of their way and...
Is this guy banned? Did they ban him?
Nope.
Let me see if they did.
Hello?
$30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear.
Holy shit, guys. If you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn $100,000, let me know.
It's like you
What a fucking bitch, dude. Honestly, to be like, oh, threatening violence against an elected official. I'm sorry, I'm a goddamn American. I'm a goddamn red-blooded American. That is my right. The tree of tyranny must be watered with the blood of tyrants. However it goes. The tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of tyrants every now and then, okay? Shut the fuck up.
Well, hold on. Homeboy said socialism.
You don't kill every single slave owner after slavery. We would have socialism at this point.
So can we really call him a communist? Think of what it takes to be called a Nazi in society. Think of what it takes for politicians to be called Nazis. Do any of them have Nazi paraphernalia in the background when they're speaking? Do they proudly call themselves Nazis and openly discuss how they're going to subvert larger society into Nazism? No. But communists have a cultural acceptability when it comes to their threatening, subversive behavior.
Then I saw clips like this where Hasan is explaining how he's hiding his power level to funnel in normies into radicalization.
I think that in the short term, in order to combat against that, you have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda. You want America, in the way that I feel about it, and if you want America to get out of the way for places with more revolutionary potential to do what they would normally do, I think that, you know, one thing you have to do is advocate for a lighter form, while simultaneously still doing agitated propaganda that goes beyond, social democratic idea.
And they can still call themselves communists, but we still can't call them communists. Well, boy, howdy, do I have some good news for you. This isn't an accident, and it isn't new. Listen to this communist directive from 1943.
A Communist Party directive issued in 1943 reads,
Members and front organizations must continually embarrass, discredit, and degrade our critics. When obstructionists become too irritating, label them as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic. Constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
Well, slap my ass and put me in the breadline. Did you hear that, fellas? Let's run that back and see if it applies to anything happening in the modern day.
Members and front organizations must continually embarrass, discredit, and degrade our critics.
Doesn't it seem like the entire left cares less about the truth and more about just trying to embarrass, discredit, and degrade their critics?
When obstructionists become too irritating, label them as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic.
Oh, that one ring a bell? You ever been called those names? When you're just trying to have a civilized debate?
Constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell.
Or racist or transphobe. Really any word that has a bad association with it. All communists do, all the left, the entirety of the left does, is take these words used to describe other people's oppression and project it on anyone that disagrees with them.
The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
You know how the left keeps repeating the same lying smears over and over again? Yeah, that's so it will become fact in the public mind. Huh, I guess we can't call Democrats communists, but they sure do seem to follow the exact directive that's been here since 1943. So, in conclusion, we are experiencing Brödinger's communist. Or in simpler terms, a communist. They are both communists and not communists at the same time. You might feel weird calling them communists, because you don't quite know what a communist is. That's because they're constantly lying to you. They want to physically and emotionally cause you harm, so they lie to you. Update, after 24 hours, Hasan is back from his ban. Up to his old tricks again.
I'm on ban. That's right, a cause for celebration. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, I'm unbanned. That's right, I'm back, and less radical than ever before, of course. I'm certainly going to be incredibly apolitical. Hold on. All queer people might burn in hell.
Update, Ethan Klein gets a 30-day ban from Twitch for showing his content nuke on Hasan Piker.
My God! It got banned for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence.
Whoa.
That's fucking
wow.
That's Hasan's content that's on your platform that he didn't get in trouble for. Holy fuck.
Interesting.
Whoa! You guys don't believe me? Look at this.
Too. Encouraging or glorifying extreme violence. Yes, that's it.
Wow.
How long is the ban?
Well, it should be only a day ban, right? In theory.
Well,
in theory, it should be no ban because it's his content.
Guys, I got a 30-day ban.
30 days?
30-day, and I didn't even say I didn't.
But don't feel bad. His account got reinstated within 24 hours because that would be insane. Speaking of insane, how is this going to impact Hasan Piker? Will it create a barrier to his reach to the mainstream? Of course not. He's gonna go on Theo Von's podcast, you know, the same podcast that Trump was on. If you make a joke that's off color, they'll call you a Nazi. They'll call you a Nazi for no reason. This open communist is being sent out by the left to normalize communism in popular society. Isn't that something? Have a good one.